get a chance to chat with an old friend of ours from the dirt circuit back in the Glenn Donnelly days. Big race taking place this week at Land of Legends Raceway, formerly Canandaigua Speedway, as they're going to honor one of the all-time greats in the stock car division. Les Whyte was somebody who started there in the street stocks, then they went to the pro stocks and everything else. He was one of the more likable drivers you're ever going to meet. The Top Gun shootout will take place this weekend, remembering him, and one of the guys who knew him from a certain place afterwards joins us. Let's head up to Caister Center, Ontario, or as it was referred to by the great Jack Burgess, Castor Corners. Joe Plazek is at the recycling yard right now. How you doing, man?
Doing great, Doug.
Thanks. Glad to hear it, man. So this is somebody, you and I kind of talked about this. Les Whyte, of course, I think you guys were both sponsored by Stakeout Restaurant, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, we were, and we were avid supporters on Saturday nights after the races.
Yeah, because I know we were talking about, you didn't hang out necessarily away from racing, but you guys were there all the time. You didn't go to each other's pits, but Les was a very unique man. Tell me why.
Well, for one thing, he looked like Jerry Reed, and that was always a draw to me. I mean, he's a famous actor, right? So, but other than that, he just a great guy, right? Like we would go to the Stakeout on Saturday nights after the race, and sometimes I had won the feature, and he had also won the feature. So we got to bring trophies in and put them on each other's table and give us a little bit that way. So we had some fun, and he was. I think he could have been in a higher, much higher division,
Absolutely.
but he was having a lot of fun where he was, and I think he was, had the skill set to do whatever he wanted to do.
I agree. Yeah, because a lot of guys back then, I mean, if you didn't have the money for modified and you were comfortable in the stock cars, a lot of guys just ran their whole career in stock cars, and who could blame them, right?
Some of the stock car guys are very, very talented guys, and I don't even think we know how much talent there is in some of those divisions. And probably never will, right? But I watch some of those races and I just shake my head and go, that guy can wheel.
Yeah. In case you're wondering who Jerry Reed is, if you've ever seen Smokey and the Bandit, that was him, his friend, who drove the truck. And, of course, he also had quite a music career. Look him up as well. Quite a guitarist.
Yeah.
Quite a picker through.
Very, very, very popular guy with the country western group.
Yeah, I didn't know you knew about that side of things. All right, well, that's right. You are my age. So, yeah, that was the era when you get down to it. But
I know. I don't know a lot about anything, but I know a little about a lot of things.
That's about the way I'd like to put it, too. There's almost nothing I know, absolutely nothing about, but at what level do we go? But Les just had that way about him. He just brought you in, didn't he? He had that easy smile. He was just that kind of guy you wanted to be friends with.
Well, one of those guys you could talk about anything with him, right? Like, and he wasn't a guy that he portrayed to know it all, right? He'd listen too, right? So that was kind of neat.
Yeah, and just the smile and the stories, and I always joked he spent every penny he made that night over it because he'd buy beers for everybody and everything. It was the Stakeout really was a unique place after the race for all those people who were heading back to the Thruway, wasn't it?
It was a great place. We had a lot of fun there. We still miss that.
Yeah, I do.
What if we could just go back to a Saturday night Stakeout? Right?
Yeah, like the picture you're seeing, by the way, is one that Joe sent me from 1997. And you think that's from Labor Day at Syracuse, you think is when that one was?
Well, it's either Super Dirt Week or Labor Day, but I got to think it's Labor Day because whoever sent it to me, it was bundled in with the one that my wife Sue was on the podium. That was a good story because I was leading the race, and they went and got Susan out of the grandstand and said, "Come on down and present on the podium." Yeah. And that's my Twitter picture on Twitter. I think it's the one that comes up as my favorite. And I think that was the same time that one of you and me was taken. So.
Yeah, probably from the old Dirt Tracking magazine, I would imagine. I would think that would be from, right? Because they got you and me captioned in it as well, which I was surprised to see because I didn't really look a lot for those at that time because I was more into hanging out with all of you guys. So, again, that's taking place this weekend, guys. It's part of the Saturday show at Land of Legends Raceway. Debbie, if you're listening, I hope I see you on Saturday because his wife was a sweetheart, and she still comes out to this event, which is very cool. And I could imagine if there's any way you could come down, I'm sure you'd like to be here with us, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we'll get there someday. I mean, the border's starting to open up a little bit now where it's starting to get a little freer, but it's still not as free as it should be.
Well, hopefully next year. Hey, what if somebody said, "Hey, Joe, you want to come down to Canandaigua and take a couple laps and something?" Would you?
No, I wouldn't do any
Seriously?
laps.
Not even hot laps, nothing. You wouldn't do it. Why?
That's just a recipe for disaster.
Okay.
You know, like.
So you know something bad would happen, and you next thing you know, be buying
I don't think anything bad would happen. I just think people would go, man, he has lost it. He's not as fast as he used to be."
That's what you're.
See, they all remember he has a fast guy in a winner, so you don't want to.
Right.
You don't want to take that away from him.
Yeah, they see you ninth in the Consi or something and go, "Oh man,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what happened to Joe, but go back home, Joe. Stick with the recycling business, So
exactly.
You listened to my chat with Alan Johnson. We're only about halfway through our interview, so we still got some time. You got any Alan Johnson stories you'd like to get out there?
I got a wow.
Yeah,
you know what? We never really hung around together, but we knew each other, and of course, Mike Hillman Sr. was my crew chief after Alan. So Mike told me some stuff about Alan that I had trouble believing, but I do believe it because I don't think he'd lie to me. But there was a couple that they were staying at a motel. I believe it was around Lebanon Valley, and after one of the races, they got into a bit of party after, I think, and then Alan decided that he would throw all the pool furniture in the pool, and it sunk to the bottom. And then they went to bed, and when they got up in the morning, all they seen was all the custodians from the motel like looking in the pool, trying to figure out how they're going to get all this pool furniture out of the bottom of the pool. Right? So
I can see that. I can see that.
I don't have any reason not to believe it.
Yeah.
I wasn't there; it's all hearsay, but I do think I believe that.
Of course, these stories do get embellished over time, so
you know what? I don't know if you can embellish that one.
That's true. The furniture's either in or it's out, and that's all there is to it. So, but
there's a few more, and I'm not going to go into those.
Yeah, he told me a couple off the mic, and it's like, maybe we don't want to bring that one up.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to.
Different time, though, right? I mean, it really was. And all of us who traveled the circuit, when we went to a hotel or a venue or whatever, we walked in like we owned the place, didn't we?
Well, there was a big group. I mean, a big following, right? So I think there was a lot of tomfoolery around Niagara here too when Maribel Ransonville ran that, because that was a big gig. When they had the chicken barbecue and all that stuff, and a lot of people really loved to come to those events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we always loved to go up to Canada, So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then of course it got kind of. I don't know. It got kind of routine because you were down here so much. You probably spent close to half your time down here during the racing season, didn't you?
My kids started to believe they were American.
They did. Okay. Hey, didn't you tell me we only got about a little over 2 minutes left to go? Didn't your son just do something this past weekend at a famous track up your way?
My son actually, Michael, my second boy, decided in the spring that they announced they're going to have a 300-lap enduro up here. It's going to pay $50,000 to win.
Wow.
And that intrigued him to build a car and enter it. And I said to him, Mike, you've never sat in a race car ever. Well, how hard can it be, right? I was like, well, okay. And he put the car all together. I did give him some advice here and there and looked it over. I wanted it safe, right? So, they did a good job. And I actually drove the hauler up. We took him there and unloaded. And I thought he'd go 10 laps and get wrecked out. And he went 150 before he actually got into a bit of a punting deal and broke a ball joint. But the funny part about this whole deal is yesterday he called me and he says, is it natural just to feel like you've went like 10 rounds with Mike Tyson? And I went, yeah, like my neck is killing me, my arms are killing me. I said, yeah, just think I had to run the next night. Yeah. So anyway, but he did well. I was proud of him. He picked good lines. He stayed out of trouble for a long time, and then it just caught up to him in the end, and he got turned around and got wrecked up a little bit. But he's already talking about next year, and the track is saying they're going to run the thing again. So it's but $50,000 for an enduro. Like, think about this.
That's crazy money. Is it winner take all, or do you know?
It's Canadian money, so it's about 15 cents US.
Okay,
but,
that's what it is nowadays. Okay,
but I mean, it's still. It's big money for an enduro race.
We'll have to see how that works out. We're already out of time, man. I can't believe it, but appreciate talking to you.
80 cars were entered.
That's something. You take care of yourself, man. I'll get a hold of you soon. I'll make sure to watch our broadcast this weekend, landoflegendsraceway.com, guys. You can find out more. Joe, I'll talk to you soon, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Vic.